Greetings and welcome. I'm Mr. Green. Welcome to the Economic History of the United States. This is an introductory video that I want to use to give you information about the syllabus, the grading, the text, that kind of thing. And in addition, to show you how I use Canvas to help us with the course. To help me conduct this video, I've prepared some PowerPoint slides, and they're going to begin showing up on the video about right now. Here's the first one. You can see there I am, and the title of the course, and my announcement that I am a student-oriented professor in the course of this. The next thing, I'm going to go to the second slide now. This is the information sheet. I'll be passing this out on the first day of class, and it's essential for a couple of reasons that you pay close attention to this sheet. In order for you to stay in the class, to stay registered, I have to determine which of you who are registered for the class are attending. And we do this on the first day. So if you're here the first day, no problem, you get to stay in the class. If not, then my instructions are to administratively withdraw you, because there are lots of students who want places in the classes here. This sheet is the way that I find out if you were here the first day. Since I don't know who you are yet, I'll have to get your name from this sheet. So I'll pass it out in hard copy. If for some reason you cannot attend on the first day, there's one of these posted as a PDF file both on the home page and on the handouts page that you can print out, fill out, and email to me to make sure you reserve a place in the class. You don't need to do this if you're going to be there the first day. Second thing on here, I'm not allowed to post your grades using your student ID number. That would violate federal law. So one of the things you're going to do on this sheet is give me a 6-digit code that I can use to do posting of grade updates and so on. Get that from the sheet. If I don't get that from you, I'll be pestering you by email telling you I don't have it. One more thing concerning this slideshow that I'm using along with this video. You can see down in the left-hand corner, bottom left-hand corner, a little number there. That's the slide number. That should allow you to correlate the slides that you're seeing on the video with the slide program that is posted on the home page and that you can use along with the video so you can see the slides. They're a little bit smaller and hard to make out some of the things on them, but you'll be able to see them quite nicely if you have the slideshow. It's a PowerPoint slideshow that you can just run separately as you watch the video. Okay, the next thing we'll do is talk about getting onto Canvas and what we need to do with that. In order to do that, we're going to start here with the university homepage, slide 4. This is an old picture. The picture you find of the university homepage will have a different picture on it, but it will have this little My Dixie link up near the top that you can select. And if you do that, then you get another one of the university pages, but this one has a login to Canvas link, and that's the one we're interested in. I'm going to select that now, and what I get is the login page for Canvas. In order to log in, you will have had to have acquired from the university the 8-digit Dixie ID number, and at the time that you register, you would have picked out a password that goes along with that number. We use these all of the time for all kinds of ways of getting into university things that apply to you. If you haven't gotten to this far yet, you will need to talk to a counselor or the registrar. Okay, once we're past this page, now we get to the home page. This is a really old picture of the Canvas homepage that I took many semesters ago. I had 3 classes then. You can see that each of the boxes that you see there represents one of your classes. I'll show you a newer one here in just a minute. This one is going to work for what I need. Over there on the left-hand side, on the left-hand icon ribbon, you see one of those with my picture in it called Accounts. You put your picture into Canvas, then your picture will be in that. I need you to go to Accounts and make sure that a couple of things happen. This is going to be the first assignment that I give you for the course. That is, you're going to make the notifications and settings. This is the menu that comes up when you select that Accounts ribbon. I've just taken a screenshot and separated it from the Canvas homepage, the Canvas page, so I could blow it up. But you can see notifications there and settings. I'm going to begin with settings. This is the settings screen that comes up, and I've circled over there the thing that you're going to have to deal with. So I'm going to blow that circled portion up for you right now. My email, my campus email that the university uses when they contact me has the star by it. I think you get to set that so that it's yours, the one that you use generally for email, your Gmail account, your Yahoo account, whichever one, whatever it is. You need to have that set so that all of the emails that I'm sending you are getting to you on the device that you're using every day. It's really important that you do this, and so please, that's the first thing we do. There's some other emails that you want to use. You can set those up here too. Your Gmail address, if you're gotten this far, you have one already. You can't change that, and all of the emails that the university and I send you all end up coming through that as well. Okay, that's what this is doing, is setting that up. The notifications screen looks like this, and I've circled the notifications up on the left-hand side. And then I want you to pay attention to the one called Announcements. I need to make sure that my announcements, many of which, all of which are now programmed into Canvas, that are going to show up on the days when they need to show up, telling you when quizzes are, when exams are, that kind of thing, assignments, reminders, that kind of thing. I need to make sure that you're getting those on the device that you're using every day. Okay. The email address that you just put in settings should appear up there. You can see mine as my green account, the university account there. Push notification, that needs to be designated, and that's the one I'm after here. You can see I've got circled there some green bells along the announcements row. All of those green bells need to be green. The notifications one may not be right now, and you need to select it so that it is. And then your Dmail over there is green, and so everything, all of these announcements are coming to your Dmail. Okay, we'll back up, and I'm going to show you again the Canvas homepage again. This is a newer one that I just took recently. And you can see I've got a number of classes that I'm teaching. Canvas is a little more complicated than the previous picture that I took earlier. And in this particular one, you can see there are two sections of economics, economic history for this particular fall semester. If it's spring semester, there would only be one. And that's one of the ways you're going to use in order to get to the homepage for our class. I want to blow up one of these boxes now, just so you can see it. Here's one I took a few semesters ago. And it's the blue lettering there is the link that allows you to get into the course. The little bullhorn icon is one way that you can find my announcements if they're not coming to the device that you're using regularly. You can use this as a way of getting it. There's another link on the Canvas tools that you can use as well. I'll be talking about the tools in just a minute. The Canvas course homepage. I'm going to select the link that gets us to the homepage now, and this is what it should look like when you pull it up on your computer. You can see it has my picture on it. That's primarily for reference. During the semester when I need to refer to the homepage, I'll often say the one with my picture on it, just to remind you which one we're talking about. It's got a number of links on it, and that's what I'll be referring to as we go through. But just on this particular screenshot, I'd like to focus in on that header, so I'm going to blow that up for you now. The header that as you can see here, has my contact information on it, my office, if you need to come by and see me, my phone number. Generally, if you want to come to my office, it's a good idea to have an appointment, and we can do that appointment by a phone call if you want. So you'll use email generally to schedule those appointments, and in my return email notifying you that you do indeed have the appointment, confirming your appointment, I'll always send my phone number if we're going to do the visit by phone. If you're going to come in my office, then I will have on my calendar an indication you're coming. So we're going to mostly communicate, the primary communication by which we do all of this, and by which you ask me most questions and so on, will be by Canvas email. Okay, the email tool. Please don't use the green@Dixie email, the one my dean uses if he wants to contact me. Coming from off campus, sometimes your emails get caught up in the cyber protection that the university uses, the firewall that we have, and I don't get them. Sometimes they'll be sent to junk and I don't see them. Canvas is an internal email system. It doesn't deal with a firewall, and so I always get it. I have my notification set up so that any email that you send me is redirected to that email anyway, and I always get it that way. Okay, if we go back to the home page that we saw before, you can see the inbox there, which is the icon that you will use to select in order to use the email. You've all been using email your whole life, so I don't think I need to take a picture of that screen. I'm scrolling down now. You can see my picture up there at the top to a number of links that are going to be really important for you to pay attention to. Okay. First, all of the video information that in theory, this is where you maybe selected this and started this video. If you got my email through Dmail earlier in the semester, then that had a link to this. But there's also there the PowerPoint slides, if you want to use those in a PDF file of the slides, if you would like to use that as you go through this video. Here, the important things that I'm going to point out now are what we really need to pay attention to here. My office hours is a link here. I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a second. There's a printable syllabus. I'll show you that in just a second. A printable schedule and an exam guide. These we will use all semester, and it's probably a good idea for you to have them. They're all PDF files, have them downloaded on your device so that you can access them anytime you need to. Okay, so get the office hours, the printable syllabus, the printable schedule, and the exam guide. You won't need to do that for a couple of weeks, but the other three probably right away. Let's do office hours first. This is a PDF file. You can see a table that I created in Microsoft Word that shows my office hours. Anytime it says office, I'm available for you to make an appointment with me. The ideal way for you to do that, whether you want to do it by telephone or whether you want to come by my office, is to send me an email indicating a day and a time, one of these times it says office, when you would like to have your appointment. Within 24 hours of receiving that email, I'll reply to you confirming that time and date, putting it in my calendar, making sure that I'm available when you and I have our appointment. That way it works. You can call my office if you want during these times, or just drop by. And if I'm there, we can have a conversation. But if I already have an appointment, then you will have to wait, or you'll get a busy signal. So it's probably better for you. I know many of you are working and so on, to do this that way. If you want to have an office appointment and you are working and you can find a time that you know during work hours that you can call me, and having an appointment makes sure that I'm there and you're not wasting time while you're at work. I know many of you will have a lot of commitments that way. Next thing I'm showing you is the printable syllabus. This is a 10-page document. Again, you don't want to print it out. Again, student-oriented, nice header, looks beautiful, as you can see. And here's another place where you can see the office hours. That's the same table that I showed you a minute ago, only this time inserted into the syllabus. And you can see also circled are the 4 required texts for this class. I had a choice of an economic history textbook. There are really only 2 that the publishers are offering. Both of them are approaching about $300 in cost. So I've elected to go with trade paperbacks. Trade means you can buy them at bookstores. In fact, you can find some of these at the bookstore, buy them at Amazon. I'm going to show you them in just a minute. But the total cost of these books should be somewhere around $50 rather than $300. I'm sure that'll all make you happy, and the amount of reading will be about the same as the big textbook. This is the printable schedule that we have for the semester. You will want to have this and maybe even print it out. Certainly have it available on your device. I have everything scheduled by each week during this, all 15 weeks during the semester. And especially important here are the reading assignments. They're spelled out in some detail for the 4 textbooks that we use, and you need this in order to know what they are. You'll be quizzed on them about once a week. Each reading assignment, quiz on it a week after the assignment generally. Although this first assignment that you see circled here, we will not have the quiz on that until the second Thursday of the class. I need to go over supply and demand with you the first couple of days of class before we get to it. So count on the second week, the second day of the second week, quiz number 1 on this reading assignment. More coming up about that later. Look at this schedule. It's going to be really important for you. It's a 3-pager here. The next page is called, I have something called the exam preparation guide. This will be really important in the midterm and the final exam are written. In order for me to prepare you for that, I'm going to ask you to do a short paper, and that short paper will in fact be a rough draft of the essay, take-home essay that's required for the midterm exam. That is, doing the short paper get you about halfway to the assignment you're going to have for the midterm. I've got the way to do the short paper and therefore the midterm, the formatting directions and so on, the assignment, all spelled out there. I have templates for the exam, both exams here that you can look at so you can see what the directions are before the exam starts. And I also have the list of short response questions, some of which will be copied onto the midterm and some of which will be copied onto the final, word for word. So you will know you already have all of the questions for the midterm and the final prepared for you. You'll be able to prepare for the precise questions that will be on the final and the midterm based on this. Some other writing guides and formatting suggestions and so on that I will use during the semester, but we don't need to deal with that right now. I'll deal with them as they come up. The next thing you see is the course homepage as I scroll down. So this is the third movement down the homepage, and this is where I have, you can see some, both as PDF files as in Word files, both the midterm and final exam essay questions and the short response questions if you want to print them out. If the Word files, in case you want to print them out and format them so that you can take your notes based on the printed questions that we have. Remember, they're the only questions on the exam, therefore that's where you should be taking your notes. That's the idea. Okay, next we'll do Canvas tools. Canvas tools is, again, we're going to use the home page here. So here's the home page again. You can see this second ribbon of links down the left-hand side of the Canvas homepage. When I was introduced to Canvas, and we had training when the university began using it, the instructor called these the Canvas tools. And so that's the reference that I'm going to use for them. I get to select which ones appear there, so other professors will have a different lists on this thing. These are the ones that I use. And I'm going to blow that up for you so that we can begin going through some of these as we do it. First one you see there is the Zoom tool. If you were on Canvas during COVID, this was something you already learned how to use. If you're new to campus, I just wanted to show you this really quickly because all of the rooms now are set up with camera and sound equipment so that I can record each of the class meetings. I think this is very useful, especially for those of you who, because of work, might have to miss a class period, or if you're sick and you want to just tune in but not show up and cause problems for the rest of the class. I'm fine with that if that's what you want to do. But I do need to make this statement right now. I'm going to try my best to get you to be in class, in person. My experience and that of most of the other instructors in the COVID regime was that students didn't learn as well, didn't do as well, and didn't attend as often under the Zoom regime as we did in person. You're just better off in person. You get to see my body language. You get to hear the inflections in my voice and so on. It communicates better. You get to hear the response of other students to my absolutely essential and compelling humor, okay, during the semester, and the body language, and that helps. Or maybe you will hear groans and other responses, but students will respond to me, ask questions that you'll be able to hear better, and so on in the course of the classroom. You will not, the in-class activities, you will not be able to make them up if you're not in class, if you're home Zooming, and so on. But it does allow me to record each session for those of you who, you're gone for a campus activity, you're sick and so on at work, you can do it later. This is a picture of one I took from an American government class, but it appears the very same. If you're new to this, each day there'll be a select button that you can choose that allows you to join the class remotely. This requires that I log in as well, which I do from this page. This is from my computer. But the thing I wanted to show you that seems to have been a little bit of a problem is on the Zoom page, you can see there the one that says Canvas recordings. So after the class is over, after I log out of Canvas, there will be a recording that you'll find on this page of that day's session. Now, Canvas is programmed so that these only stay available to you for 30 days. So use them wisely, and remember they won't be there at the end of the semester as we move along. So use them the way that you can, that way. Let's go to the second tool. This one's called Syllabus. Canvas gives me the opportunity to create some pages that you will see on my own. That's what the Pages tool you see above this is for. The Syllabus is one of these, only it's separate specially. And I've not put the whole syllabus over on that Syllabus tool, but there are some things that I'm going to be able to use here that will be very helpful to us. If I choose it, you can see that the first one you have here is my header has been cut off a little bit in this screenshot that I took. I'll probably fix that by the time you see this. But you can see the links to the printable syllabus, the semester schedule, and the exam guide. And then again, my contact information there. What I'm interested in on this syllabus page is to scroll down from here to the next slide, and the screenshot I take on the next slide. And here you can see the 4 textbooks we're going to use, okay? The first one is called An Empire of Wealth, and you need to have that right away. I sent an email out a month before class started, so many of you can get these ordered and maybe find used ones and so on. There should be used ones at the bookstore, or you can buy a brand new one because it's still relatively inexpensive. Again, these are trade paperbacks. This is kind of the text for the class. It's an overview of the economic history of the whole United States. The others are what we call monograph studies. They focus on one area of economic history. The first one is the artificial river. This is written not by an economist, but by a sociologist. I'm going to claim that culture is really important for understanding the economic history of the United States, and the culture that surrounds the building of the Erie Canal is the focus of this really good book. The next one is called The Tycoons. This is a book about the industrialization of the United States, especially after the Civil War, focusing on the biography of 3 really important entrepreneurs, John D. Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie. Rockefeller built the oil industry primarily. Carnegie is the major person responsible for the steel industry. J.P. Morgan, the big and the important investment banker in the period. And Jay Gould, whom I don't think most of you have heard of, was a big important in the creation of the railroads, especially the railroads west of the Mississippi, although he started with one of the big railroads in the east. Finally, The Forgotten Man is a history of the Great Depression, the most important economic event probably in American history. It changed the way that we think about and that our government deals with economic problems like depressions and inflation. And so it's quite important to our study, okay? So there are your books. If I scroll down, give one more scroll here, get to the end, and this will be the grading portion. Okay, we're now come to the grading portion on the syllabus. If I scroll down, you can see here the grading, and it'd probably be a good idea to blow this up a little bit. And so I've created on PowerPoint a nice table to help us go through the grading portion of the semester. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to take 2 written exams. You will take these on your home computer at your house or at one of the university computer centers. And these are going to be written exams. They'll also be taken together. Whatever your grade is on them will be 45% of the final grade that we for the semester. Many of you have not taken a written exam before, so even though both exams are exactly the same length and pretty much formatted the same, I'm going to make the midterm exam only 40% of the final grade and the final exam 60%. Give you a chance to see how you do on the midterm, okay? Again, I'm going to give you some direction on how to deal with this exam as we go through, but again, many of you haven't done this. About every week, we have 15 weeks in the semester, and 12 of those weeks we will have a reading quiz. That is, I'm going to take you through the course of the semester a little over 100 pages a week in the reading that we have, and then test you on the material that you read. The culmination of all of these 12 quizzes is going to be whatever your grade is on that will be 40% of your final grade. There is a makeup quiz that I have allowed that I will talk to you more about in just a second. So keep that in mind. Finally, 15% of your final grade is going to be what I've just called other. I have some homework assignments for you, and one of them is the short paper. There's some worksheets and so on that I'm going to have you do primarily early in the semester. And then I take attendance on the quizzes, on the quiz days, and you have to be here in class in order to get the points available for attendance on the quizzes. If you heard all the quizzes, you'll get 100% on that. The homework will be 80% of that 15%. Attendance will be 20% of that 15% mark that I've just called other. Okay, let's break this down just a little bit and talk to you a little bit now about the exams. The exams are written and they're based entirely on my lectures and the discussions that we will have in class. You are not going to be able to use the internet or any other textbook to figure out exactly what it is that I'm doing in class. It's all coming from a lifetime I've spent reading about these kinds of issues and what I find to be really, really important. Okay? So it's going to be important for you to, as you prepare for these, to be in class every day. When we take the quizzes, as soon as we're done, I'm going to go over the answers to the quizzes, and that will involve my giving out information that will be available for me to use on the midterm and on the final. So every day you need to be in class and taking really thorough notes, okay? You also need to use the exam guide, and remember the exam templates are there, the formatting requirements for the written, the essay portions of the exams. There is a take-home essay for each one. Remember, all of the potential short answer questions are there, and the midterm and final exam essay questions are all written out for you, okay? But I'm going to do more with that as it continues. When it comes time to take the midterm, it turns out that I have created 3 versions of the midterm exam, each one with a different set of the short response questions. Everybody has the same take-home essay question. For the short response section, these will be copied word for word from the list of potential short response questions on the list, and you'll have 45 minutes. Each of you will have 45 minutes to complete this section of the exam, both on the midterm and the final. Each exam has 1 take-home essay question, and we'll be preparing for the midterm exam essay question by doing the short paper, and it'll be essential that you do that. Let's move now to an important part of preparing for the exams. It's going to be in everyone's interest, if you can, to find students either in your section, if you're in the fall semester, in the opposite section, to study with, okay? And to go over these short response questions and prepare strategies for the answers. My warning to you at this point is do not prepare written out answers to the short response questions that you share with one another. If you do, then your answer that you wrote out is going to appear in someone else's answer. That's going to be plagiarism. That's going to get you in trouble. It will mean that you will end up failing the class, and it will also mean that you may be referred to the dean, and that means that there will be a campus committee to determine whether you get to remain on campus or whether they will suspend your ability to be here. So we do not submit the same work, okay, ever, on any assignment that we want to do. Also, because the exams count so much, it's important that you take both exams, and if you don't, my experience just is you failed, so I've just made it a requirement. Take both exams. If you don't take the midterm, by definition, you will have failed the course just by not taking it. I will, however, if you don't take it, I'll send you an email saying why not, and give you a chance maybe to make it up with a penalty. But failure to take the final will also, and there's no way to make up missing a final, will mean that you will not pass the class. Next thing we'll go to are the reading quizzes, okay? They happen every Thursday, in the spring semester, they often shift to Tuesdays after spring break. In the fall semester, they do not. They'll be on Thursday the whole time, if I remember right. I'll correct that if we get to class, if that's not correct. You will come to class, and the questions will be presented to you as PowerPoint slides on the front screen. Each of you will pick up an answer sheet in the front of the class as you enter the class, getting ready for it. And each of the quizzes will start exactly when class starts, okay? I'll have my phone up there as soon as it hits 9 o'clock in the morning class and 1:30 in the afternoon class, the quiz starts. If you come late and you miss questions, I will not go back over and show you the questions again. You will just miss them, okay? So be on time for the quizzes. In order to be ready for the quizzes, you need to have done the reading assignment that is in the semester schedule, and you need to take advantage of something called the practice quizzes. That is, I have posted 12 practice quizzes, one for each of the quizzes that we will have. Each of the practice quizzes is a list of 40 multiple choice questions, okay, taken from the reading that I wrote for your textbooks, okay? If you have gone through those 40 questions by the time the quiz starts and you know the answers, then you're going to do really well on the quizzes, because I'm going to copy 6 of those directly onto your quiz, okay? Now, the quiz will have 10, maybe 11 points available. 6 will be these questions from your reading. The other 4 questions will be short response, true, false, and other kinds of fill in the blank kinds of questions that I put on, that are based on the lecture material that we've covered since the last quiz. So on the first day of class, I'm going to talk to you about something called the Great Fact, the wealth of the United States, the unprecedented wealth of the United States and where it came from. Some of that material may be included as a question on the first quiz. On the second class meeting, I'm going to begin talking about supply and demand, which I will finish on the third class meeting. There will be some questions among these 4 on that particular material. As part of supply and demand, we're going to learn how to draw a supply and demand model. And I'm going to ask you to reproduce that model on quiz number 1. I have a little problem for you to do that. And since you're reproducing a diagram, that's going to be a 2-point question, hence the 11 points on that one. Where I can't get you to draw a diagram, then it'll generally be a 10-point quiz. Okay? Let's move to the next slide. The background for this slide is Angel's Landing up at Zion. Just didn't know what else to do. This is where we are. And while you're all at this university, you should all take the opportunity to go up and hike around up in one of the most beautiful places in the world. And Angel's Landing is a good initial hike for you. There's going to be a makeup quiz available for all of the quizzes except number 12. I'm going to require that you be in class in order to take quiz 12, and it will be in your interest to do that because there are going to be some extra points available on that particular quiz, okay? The makeup quizzes that are available are going to be limited. You will get to use them, but you only get to use 3 of them, okay, during the semester. Therefore, if you're going to use makeup quizzes, if you're not going to be in class and you want to take the makeup quiz, that will be your score on the quiz if you take the makeup. But once you've taken 3, I won't count anymore. The first 3 are it. They're the only ones that'll be. I'll disregard any others that you take. Another thing to keep in mind is if you take the makeup quiz and you do the in-class quiz, the score on the makeup quiz is your score for that particular quiz. If you get 10 points on the in-class quiz, but there were 11 possible, and you thought, well, let me do that again. If you've got 9 points and there were 11 possible, and you thought I can get that extra point, but you only got 6 points on the makeup quiz, 6 would be your score. Taking the makeup quiz says that's the score you want when you use it. What I'm trying to do is to encourage you not to use the makeup quizzes. They're available if you need them, but to be in class and take the quizzes, do the reading assignments, take the quizzes, and be up to date all of the time. Okay. Next, finally, we're going to have some kind of auxiliary. I've just called them other kinds of things. There's a pretest and an introductory video quiz that are available on Canvas as soon as Canvas opens. If you're watching this on the first day of class, they're open right now. The pretest is simply a bunch of questions about economic history to determine how much you already know. If you take it, you'll get full 10 quiz points that will go into the quiz grade. The introductory video quiz has a number of questions, and you take that, you can take it up to 3 times, and it's based on this video that you're watching right now. Your score on that is going to be included in the quiz grade as well. And finally, at the end of the semester, there'll be a post-test, which is the pre-test that I give you again to see if you'd advanced. If you take that, you'll get all of the points, just as with the pretest. I will use the scores for university business. They will not, the scores on those will not, on the pretest and the post-test, will not impact your course grade at all. We're going to do a short paper, which will be a first draft of your midterm exam essay. I better explain that a little bit later in the semester. It's part of the homework grade. The worksheets, there's one on our supply and demand discussion and one on something called comparative advantage, where we'll be talking about the advantages of trade, and those are all included in this other grade. In addition, I talked to you earlier about attendance and being at the quizzes, and that I take attendance when we do those. So keep all of that in mind. That will affect your grade. Okay, more Canvas tools coming up. Okay, we'll continue on now with the Canvas tools. After the syllabus, we'll move down to the one called assignments. The assignments tool is a place where you can find all of the makeup quizzes, all of the midterm and the final exam versions, where you will upload the paper to me, where you will upload the midterm and the final essays. The only place you can upload things to me, papers to me, is in this assignments tool. But it also puts all of these other graded activities that you do on Canvas in this place. On my screens, I'm allowed to organize them. I looked at the student view of these, and they don't come up organized there. I'm going to complain about that, see if I can get them to. And hopefully when you see this, they will be just like you're about to see them. The first thing under you can see that I've organized stuff under headings here. And the first one under the university heading, there's the pretest. This is an older one. The introductory video quiz will be in there when you open yours. Upload the short paper. You can see that's there. And upload the essay portion of the midterm exam. So this is where you're uploading everything, okay? If I move on down, scroll on down, the short response, you see 3 versions of the short response section of the midterm exam. I will be making assignments by email before the midterm, indicating which one of these you're to take and giving you an access code to it. Same with the final. But especially note where the makeup quizzes are here, okay? All right, now where I make all of those things that makeup quizzes and midterm and final and all of that is in the quizzes section. So we'll go to that. And this is also where everything is listed except the stuff that you upload to me. None of that is here. And you can scroll down there. The quizzes page, and I need you to, if you're taking notes, to make a note of this especially. It's divided into two parts. The first one is called assignment quizzes. These are the ones I've assigned and that you'll be graded on. But as you scroll down, you'll eventually come, and I blew this up, to one called practice quizzes. This is where those practice quizzes are that I told you could use in order to prepare for each of the quizzes when they occur, each of the 40 question databases. That if you've done them all, you will know what the questions are and the answers on the quizzes when you take them. So use these and so on. But you have to, this is the only place you can find them is under these practice quizzes that you see here. They're set up as an online test. So you take the online test, you can take it 3 separate times if you want. I think it's 3 or 2. I can change that if we need to. Complain if you don't think it's enough. And we'll work on that from there. Okay. The next item we will discuss is Canvas pages. If you look at the slide on Canvas Tools, you can see the pages link. But you have to remember and be a little bit aware here, because Canvas makes this a little bit of a complicated procedure to get through. If I click on the pages link, I immediately get the home page again, which you see here. But in this instance, the home page has added a little red button up in the top left-hand corner, the one I've got the arrow pointing to, called View All the Pages. So to select pages, you have to actually do 2 selections in order to get to this slide, which I've blown up quite a bit, and shows you the various pages that I've created to help me get information to you in the course of the semester. So we want to look at these, and I'm going to start by taking the menu and blowing it up so that we can kind of follow along at these various pages that I've got for you. The first one we're going to look at is the one called grade posting. I'm going to select that, but before I do, I'm going to return to the Canvas homepage, the one you run into right after you enter Canvas. In this particular instance, I'm using my own homepage, and I've scrolled way down, and I've made it. I've scaled it out quite a bit. That's so that you can see the course boxes that we started with, and the View Grades tab right down at the bottom of this page. Most of you, if you've dealt with Canvas during high school, and if you dealt with Canvas because you've been at the university, have been following your grade progress using this button. For reasons that I'll explain to you later in the semester, I don't use the Canvas grading tool. I don't use this View Grades. And so if you're selecting that in order to follow how you're doing in this class, it's going to be quite disappointing. In fact, your grade won't be what you think it is. It'll be really low. Instead, we're going to use that grade posting page that I referred to before. And when you come to that, this is what it looks like. Okay, I've blown it up a little bit so we don't see all of it here. There's a grade calculator here. After the midterm, you'll be able to use this to assess how you're standing, what your standing in the class is at any given moment, and experiment with what you need to do on the quizzes or the exams or whatever in order to change and improve your grade as we go. The quizzes, as we take them, will be updated here. Attendance, and there are some others. These are the ones, the links that I have on the page. You can see the ones that we've talked about so far, the quizzes, attendance, and the other grades. there are no exam grades here. Instead, I'll post, after the midterm, I'll post something called the current semester grade, telling you how you're doing at that point in the semester, and then a final grade, and you'll select that. You'll select that even before you go to Banner at the university site to determine what your final grade in this class is. Next one we'll look at very briefly. You can see I've got the PowerPoint link suggested. You get a page that looks like this, and all of the PowerPoint slides that I use all during the semester, from which, as I narrate the slides, the exam questions are taken. All of those slideshows are posted here. The first one is this set of introductory slides that you're watching right now, or that go along with this video that you're watching right now. If I pull up a list of all of the slideshows that I have posted, you can see that the introduction is the first one, the one with these slides. And if you would, on the first day of class, we're going to be going through a set of slides called The Great Fact. And if you have a device where you can use PowerPoint slides, then you can pull that down and use it. I just had an idea that I could make these into a PDF file and have it available also on the home page. You haven't seen that yet. I'll do that before the course starts. The next link is called Diagrams for Papers and Exams. In order to do the short paper and the midterm essay and the final exam essay, you are required to insert a diagram to illustrate one of the points that you'll be making in the course of writing that paper. In addition, when you take the short response sections of the exam, some of the short answer questions ask you to refer to a diagram that we've used in class that'll be on the slides. Rather than have you try to create those diagrams on your own, which would take a lot of time, or find them on the internet, I furnish them to you. You choose this selection, you get this page called the Diagrams page. And you can see there are a bunch of diagrams there. I'm going to blow it up just a little bit. We see now, you can see a diagram there and a link, a red letter link. If you push the red letter link, you get a JPEG file, a picture, and you can use that picture and insert it into whatever document you're using. If you're doing short response questions, you can see each diagram is labeled diagram A, diagram B. You're not to insert the diagram into the Canvas box where you're answering the test question. Instead, just refer to the diagram and I'll know which one it is you're referring to. But you get all of those here on this page. The next one is called the Handouts page. This is a page that I've created with the number of handouts that I have during the semester. All of these handouts will be given to you in hard copy. Let's pull that up for just a second. You see the first one is the information sheet that we discussed at the beginning of this video, the one that you'll receive from me on the first day and turn in so that I can compare who's in class with the registrar's roll. You can find both a PDF and a document version of this on this page, and all of the other handouts that I have. If you miss a handout in class, then you can pick it up on this page. Okay, finally, let's go over the assignments that I need you to do in the first week. On the first Tuesday, the first day we meet, again, I'll give out the information sheet and I'll need that handed in. If you're not in class on that Tuesday, I need that sheet by Thursday of the first week. If I don't get it, you'll be withdrawn from the class. So make sure I'm getting that information sheet, and keep in mind you have to create a 6-digit code that you're going to give me that I use when I do the grade posting that we talked about earlier. Please, if you can, if you have access to PowerPoint on your computer or on your whatever device, get the Great Fact program, and I'm going to create a PDF file for you that will be inserted on the home page in case you can't use it that way. And in addition, for that first meeting, would you watch the YouTube video called 200 Countries, 200 Years in 4 Minutes? You can type that into the search and find it, or the link is included on the homepage. Do that, I'd be very happy, and so will you. Okay, this is where you find the great fact on the PowerPoint slides page, if you're looking for the PowerPoint version of it. And this is where you find the link on the homepage to the 200 Countries, 200 Years in 4 Minutes. It's down near the bottom of that first set of links that we dealt with. It's right under the exam guide one. This is a photograph of the way that video will look. Here I'm into it about 42 seconds when you begin the video. By Thursday of the first week, I need you to complete the pretest, which you can find either on the assignments tool or on the quizzes tool. Complete the introductory video quiz, a quiz on this video that you're watching now. You'll have 3 chances to answer the questions there, and I'll take the highest score, but that must be completed within the first 2 weeks of the semester. Do it by the first Thursday, as we say here, and that'll be fine. You should get the Gordon book and begin reading the first reading assignment. Get the semester schedule to make sure you know which chapters in the Gordon book you have to read, and be ready for that, because we'll be taking the quiz on that reading assignment on the second Thursday of the semester. And it's a good idea to get started on that so you can use the practice quiz in order to help you prepare for that. Okay, this is the end of the video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the first day.